you, everybody. The wonderful Katie Goodman from Broad Comedy. Look her up on YouTube. She does it 5 times better than me. But something she doesn't do 5 times better is talk to us about the stuff that Pele is going to talk about. It's a mystery you'll never know until she gets on stage. Pele
Thanks, Phil. So my name is Pele Cannon, if you didn't get it. I also am currently doing a PhD, and I love animals. Animals good. But if you say my name quickly enough, you actually get an animal. I'm a pelican. But so I'm currently in the middle of a PhD, trying to write a very long and wordy thesis. And I am writing about human-animal relationships. Specifically, wolves. Pretty key one that you could have got there, but it's all right. We'll let it slide. No, I am writing about wolves and what we think of wolves, but also maybe what they might think of us. And this meant I got to go and live at a wolf sanctuary in Colorado for a few months last year. Hot tip, if you want to get through the many existential crises that are a PhD, do it with something that you love, maybe something that can look back at you and maybe even give you a cuddle when you need it. But these wolves taught me a lot of things. For one thing, they taught me that they can be as finicky as a 5-year-old at dinner time. So I knew one wolf, his name was Max. He hated salmon, but he loved chicken. Once he figured out how to get past the feathers. Another one called Farah, she loved eyewear. So if you went into her enclosure, your face was basically a dinner plate and she would take the eyewear off your face. She must have liked the crunch factor. But another pair, Ash and Saphira, they would fight to smithereens over the last scrap of meat and then romp and play like lovers the next hour. And I'm a bit like that around chocolate macadamias, so watch out. But the other thing they taught me is that they are much more scared of us than we are of them. And think about that for a second. Think about all the fairy tales we have about the big bad wolf, poor little Red Riding Hood, all those werewolves, Wolverine. Well, he's pretty hot, so don't count. But if you think about how scared we are of wolves, think about what a wolf might think of us. They probably think we are like Predator and the alien had a baby. Pralien, right? And Pralien got nuked and turned into an evil Hulk. Not a helpful Hulk, an evil Hulk. That is what wolves think of us. Terrifying. So one of the best things about living at this wolf sanctuary was when the wolves started to trust me. And how do you think they would do that? So people, when they trust me, they might give me the keys to their car and trust that I won't total it. They might give me their favourite plant when they go on holidays and trust that I'll keep it alive and water it. Or they might leave me in their office with their computer unlocked and their Facebook logged in. High level of trust right there. But the wolves, they show their trust in a slightly different way. They don't really have cars, they don't care about orchids, and what the hell is Facebook anyway? But they would show their trust by, first off, letting me watch them eat breakfast. Secondly, they would let me get within about 20 feet of them inside the enclosure. And maybe, best of all, maybe, just maybe, they'd come and smell my breath. And invariably their breath smelled better than mine, but they were always very polite and never commented. But all of this experience led me to notice some interesting things about the ways that we communicate and with and about animals. So we often talk to animals as if they're people. I'm pretty sure my childhood dog knows more about me than anybody else. He was there when I figured out the difference between the Backstreet Boys and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and how much better my teenage love life was for realising that early on. But we also love to narrate our animals' actions. So you might not be aware, but Google helpfully told me that there are actually more than 2 million cat videos on the internet. But not only that, we've watched them 25 billion times. So that's something. But we also love seeing different species of animals interacting. And no, not eating each other. We only like that when David Attenborough is narrating. But when they have friends, so you can imagine the cheetahs with their dog buddies, or when we see those videos of a dog at the beach meeting a seal friend. They're pretty cute. But I find that we relate to different animals in incongruous ways. So I love having cats and dogs in my house, but I don't particularly want to see a rat or a mouse or a cockroach in my bedroom. And we don't particularly love cat hair on our clothes, but we obviously love all those cat videos. And I forgot my line. A music cloudy is very handy trick, but slightly hidden. No. But no, so we call some animals evil, skunks, mosquitoes, politicians. But other things we call them cute. The lucky ones are cute. The puppies, the kittens, the axolotls. But I find we also seem to celebrate them when they do things for us. So if you can think about how many dogs have jobs, like, for example, sheepdogs. We love watching sheepdog trials where we celebrate these dogs performing incredible tasks, just incredible human tasks. But I don't know if any of you have ever hung out with a sheep. What a sheepdog does is superhuman. I worked on a sheep farm in Chile for a month, and getting a single sheep, let alone a mob of sheep, to do anything it doesn't want to do is virtually impossible. So these sheepdogs are basically mind controlling a bunch of very obstinate sheep to move in perfect formation through some human constructed obstacles at high speed. And I couldn't do that. Not a chance. But what if we flip that on its end? And what if we imagined getting people to do very dog-related tasks? So, for example, we had to only use our sense of smell to figure out when that rather attractive beagle passed by the fence post and what she might have had for breakfast. Or if we had to learn how to speak dog and find out what meat the dog loved as much as I love chocolate macadamias. Or, best of all, what if we... lost my line again. What if we figured out which toy the dog most wants you to throw out of the 16 available? Well, that's a trick question, because they probably just want you to throw any of them, and they will just want to play with you. But why is it odd to think that an animal might have preferences? That it might miss us when we're gone? I mean, Nemo's dad missed him, didn't he? He travelled the whole East Australia current. He made friends with those slightly scary sharks. He endured Dory's conversations, all to get back his son. And we often find that we populate our lives with animals. We populate our homes with animals. And when I was at the wolf sanctuary, it actually turned out to be quite a menagerie of a place, because all these other little critters had figured out that the wolves couldn't eat them if they didn't go into their enclosures. And nothing else would come too close, because the wolves are the top dogs. They're a bit scary. So the foxes and the coyotes kept their distance. So it turned out to be a squirrel sanctuary, a chipmunk sanctuary, a rabbit sanctuary, as well as a wolf sanctuary, a whole big crew coexisting happily. And the wolves were often too well fed to bother chasing a chipmunk. It would be like me climbing Mount Everest for one chocolate macadamia. I'm keen on them, but I'm not 8 kilometres straight up and no oxygen keen. But while I was at the sanctuary, I would often try and start a howl. And the 30 wolves they'd often howl back, eventually. But I think it's a lot harder to learn how to speak wolf than it is to learn how to speak Spanish or English. I mean, the vowels probably sound different. The metaphors might not translate. But eventually the wolves would howl back, and I was always grateful. I always wanted to be part of their crew. I mean, even if I was saying something as nonsense as, not all pelicans have bad breath. They'd let me get away with it. They were nice like that. So that's all. Thank you and good night.
Check out the ink on the arm there, that beautiful wolf. Pelican! The Pelican! Woo!